Test, test, 1, 2. Hey folks, we're live. It's Friday. Doing some game dev. And Turtle, just missed the Turtle. How's it going, Jeffrey? Good to see you. Hope you've had a good week. Enjoy your Friday. I'm excited to carry on with this game dev because I missed last Friday because I was being nice and helping people. So I did miss out on a little bit of game dev last week. Hopefully you didn't miss me too much. So yeah, looking forward to doing a bit more of this. Didn't make too many notes in my Discord, so kind of making it up where I'm going along. Beard human, very greetings. Greetings indeed. Right, switch over to the main screen. Boom. So we did a bit of organisation last time I streamed this. So I've got all the files in the same folders, so there's a different folder for each file type, so it makes it a bit easier to track stuff down. Trebuchet faces the wrong way. I know. Let's fix that now, shall we? Shall we fix that now? It's minus 180. There we go. I see all. You're the all-seeing eye. How about that? But yeah, I still need to... Oh. I was wondering where that line came from because I haven't selected that. Let's select a tree for the moment. Yeah, I still need to probably bring this object into Blender. I think I've got the Blender version of the object, rather than having to convert it. But take it into Blender, break it into multiple parts. So make this one part, maybe rotate it around that so this doesn't change. I don't know. Ooh, story time. So I was walking the dogs and... Maybe I've told before, but people avoid us, like cross the street, not have to walk past me. So while walking, two mothers with like 4 or 5 children combine walking towards me, and they do their usual move away as much as possible from me. When suddenly, to the horror of one of the moms, the smallest of children, a girl I guess, around 4 or 5, walks straight up to my male dog, who's at least 30 centimetres, 8 inches taller than she is. Little girl asks, "Can I pet your dog?" Absolute fear in the eyes of the mother. I'm like, sure. Girl pets dog, is happy. Mother slowly walks towards us, pets him too. Aww. See, it takes the mind of an innocent to see the beauty sometimes. But she did the right thing. She walked up to you, she asked permission, "May I pet the dog?" Rather than running over and then screaming and hands all over the dog, because that doesn't always work out. But she had the manners. She did the right thing, was ask, is it okay to pet the dog? Which you should always do. Don't assume all dogs are friendly. And as a responsible owner, you would know how your dog would react, and you can kind of react to that. But you know that Uno would have been fine. If we want to be precise, what she said would have been translated close to, "Can I pet the little doggy?" It was like 9 times the size, so that was funny. I suppose in their mind, all dogs are little. There's some children that outright refuse to believe they are small themselves. They go, "Aren't you a lovely little girl?" I go, "I'm not a little girl." Well, you're only 2 foot tall, so... But no, there's a lot of children that don't like the idea of themselves being small and therefore disregard that idea. But yeah, it's funny. That's funny that consider a dog the size of Uno is a little doggy. But it depends. Does Uno think he's a little doggy? And there are some dogs that believe they are the size of a cat, despite being several cats big. Was Uno fully aware of his size? Uno would never buy a child, but we still need to be cautious since he would accidentally flatten one or headbutt one into a concussion. He's not elegant. Okay. Yeah, I know there's some dogs that don't know their size and strength. Is that I just want to love them and go bang. And they don't realise that. Unless you kind of specifically train a dog around children, then they learn, okay, children are fragile, they are small, they need extra care, whereas adults, bigger, can take a bit more, still obviously a bit of care there. It's like Nix's dog Lottie knows children are fragile and not to run at them because she will flatten. And Lottie's only a Stafford, so she's like a fraction of the size, but she's all muscle and bone and not much else. Like the head of a Stafford is like solid, rock solid. Like if she headbutts you, you'd know about it. Right. We've got that 360 now, so at least that's pointing at it. In this current context, that trebuchet is way overkill for that building. Like, that would probably send the rock through the building. But this is not a physics or historically accurate game. It's just for fun. What I would like to do is make the script to make the trees go wobble, wobble, wobble. That might be a fun one to do today. Next had a child called So, she was used. Yeah, although Lottie's not met the child. The child lives elsewhere. But Lottie has met child's cousins. So there's oh, I didn't know. That's okay. It's one of those things you don't talk about generally. But yeah, all of the cousins have come over. So Lottie has met the cousins, and they're okay with the cousins. But yeah, Lottie's great though. She understands that children need extra care. Right, shall I make let's make a script that makes a tree wobble. I feel that's going to be a fun thing. Are you an uncle already since you have adult siblings? No, my brother only has Paddington the dog. So technically I'm a dog uncle, I suppose. And my brother has no intention of having children, nor does his wife, so they're suitably matched. Neither of them want children, unless they have 4 legs and wag a tail. Paddington dog, didn't know that breed is a connection to bear. Paddington is named for the bear, but he is a Tibetan Terrier, is his actual breed. But he looks a lot like Paddington the bear. But yeah, he's a Tibetan Terrier, and apparently Tibetan Terriers were bred as like guard alert dogs for the Tibetan monks in their monasteries. They would have a Tibetan Terrier that would alert to any intruders. I had those books as a child. Nice. Yeah, the bark of a Tibetan Terrier travels for miles, it seems. and yet they choose to do it only when they're a foot away from you. He doesn't bark for like, I don't know, 12, 18 hours. Completely silent. Maybe they'll huff or whine occasionally. But then he has no, there's two volume settings. He has like completely silent and then sort of 11. But yeah, every time he's barked in this house, it's like a flash grenade goes off. It's like boom. Especially as it's quite a higher pitch bark. Like I suppose a dog like Uno would be like a really woof, like a big kind of bassy woof. Whereas Paddington is it's a more of a higher pitch one, so he'll just go. He'll bark and he'll cut through it. Like if he was a full-on guard dog and someone tried to break in, the intruder would probably be deafened. Right, so we make a tree code. Let's create a new script, C# script. Let's call it a tree. Yeah, my brother is growing Paddington's fur out because the like the show standard for a Tibetan Terrier is that the fur kind of combed down the middle, so they have like a parting right down the middle, and it's combed down, and it's supposed to come to the ground like a curtain around the side of the dog and just hangs. So very long hair for the show. If you want to take him to a show, the standard is like fur grown out and hanging off the side. So they're trying to grow his fur to a show standard. He is from show stock, like either his parents or I think it might be his grandparents were award-winning show dogs. So he's technically from a lineage of award-winning dogs, which is why he's quite expensive. He wasn't a cheap dog to buy, from what I've heard. To open the tree code, so we need a collision. Don't think we need anything on start. Don't think we need to start. So this tree needs to react to a collision. So there's an on. Void on collision. So we'll do a thing on collision. Don't think we need an update either. It's literally if the tree gets hit. So let's make a note here. When hit by rock wobble the tree. Hey Pixel, how's it going? Good to see you again. Hope you've had a good week. I like it. It's adds another line, and that's pretty cool. I am glad to hear. It's empty. I know it's empty. Right, so I'm gonna have to. I want the tree to do that, but it needs to rotate around the base really. So let's save that. Let's save that for a moment. So do the tree. Where's the tree? Bush? Not a bush, is it? Conifer. It's a conifer. There we go. It's a conifer. So the conifer's not there. Prefab variant. Let's do that. We can attach it to this variant of the conifer here. Let's go to scripts and attach the tree script to the conifer. We can go back now. There we go for this particular conifer. It now has a tree script. Awesome. Right, so we can make it do things. So we do need to set the actual pivot points to change, because if I rotate it, the bottom's going to move, and trees typically don't move from the bottom. So I need to change its rotational points. Now how do I do that? At the moment it's dead center, which is all fine. Let's make a tag as well. New tag and call it tree. And say that is a tree. Probes, tree scripts. So this is something I would like to learn, because you don't always want things to rotate from the center. And I'm sure I did come across this, where it's you specify where it is. Might be a Google job, this. Let's have a quick look in the Google. So Unity move rotation point. There we go. Move game object pivot. Moving pivot point of an object. It seems that the pivot point is wrong in the model. It's easy to change it in the 3D modeling software. Okay, so someone's basically saying make a holding object for the tree, and then drop the tree into it. Cool. Okay. We're going to give that a go. Let's go 3D object. It's an empty. Create an empty. Let's call it tree. Okay, we want to put the tree inside the tree. So if I drag that conifer into there, and then I suppose we want the code. I suppose we attach the code to that rather than to the to here. So let's remove the script from here. Remove components and let's go scripts, tree script. I want it to be on the parent. What would you call it? A container, I suppose. A container. It contains contains the tree. Now we make the tree a not into there, not into there. Hey Max, evening again. Good to see you. Awesome chat earlier. Right, tree. So tree is a tree. What about emotes? Hey Lisa, how's it going? Hope you've had a good week and enjoying your Friday. Right, so the tree is now a prefab, so we can duplicate the tree as many times as we want. Now, now I've got an object which isn't an object. Can we, if you had to pick emotes, mayonnaise, or OnlyFans, doing okay, my neck is hurting a little, but yesterday it was way worse. Ooh, sorry to hear that. I hope that heals up soon. How are you? I'm pretty good. It's been a bit of a longer week. I don't know why it's felt long. But it's felt like a long week, but I'm glad it's Friday and we're doing good. I do not recommend his OnlyFans. Well, I suppose you've seen the content. Doing good, doing good. Yeah, the emotes will probably be the cheapest option there. Right, so how do we do it? How do we do it? Let's go back to this piece of just make the object child of an empty game object and move that one. There's no way of changing pivot point model directly. So. Doing good, Max. Good. So effectively I want it to do this, but not pivoting around that point. How do I change the pivot point of an empty then? Do we go properties? That's exactly the same as what's on the side there. Position, rotation, scale. Make that a tree. Let's untag that as a tree. Now, that still rotates to there. Let's go back to the Google. What are we missing here? What are we missing? I set the empty object transform where I want it to pivot, then attach the new object to the empty as a child, but as soon as I do, the empty object transform is now the center of the new object. Solution: create new empty. Parent desired object to empty. Make sure you're in pivot and not center mode. Toggle button located at the top next to local global. Also make sure to change the pivot before parenting your game object. Otherwise you need to unparent all your objects again. Okay. Oh, okay, right. It's next to global. Let's pivot. Center. Pivot. Okay, okay, okay. T-brush time, okie dokie. See you shortly. Gotcha. What the hell's going on down there? Put that one over there for the moment. This is the one we want to don't know how this helps me. Tool handler. Unless I don't make it a empty, then actually make it like a pole, and I made the whole pole do that, rotating around a point, but the tree is stuck to the top of the pole. Does that make sense? Aussie, be back. Aussie wants food. Okay, go feed the Dark Lord. Right, we could try this. Okay. 3D object. Cylinder. So we have a cylinder. Let's resize it a bit. Let's put this 0.4, 0.4. I'll make it roughly the width of a tree trunk. I'll make it invisible anyway, but make life a little bit easier. So what we do that. Let's rename that. Actually, leave it as a moment. It's for the moment. Scripts. Let's put the tree script into there. And we want put a conifer inside the cylinder. Yeah, it's a little bit on the large side. Let's undo that. Okay, let's set this all back to 1. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Let's move that one out of the way. Make sure that's on the ground. Blessed be this day I've returned safely from my travels. Welcome back, traveller. Let's get that nicely set roughly in that. So delete that. Delete that. Yes. Let's rename that. Rename to tree. Make that a prefab. Turn off the mesh renderer for that, which means we can't see the mesh. Damn, okay. Ah, center. Excellent. No, that's just for the collider. We don't need a collider on there. Well, technically we do. How does the animation work? It's like stop motion where it switches between points of state of the tree, or does the asset actively move? Stop motion where it switches between points of state. I suppose. So the asset does actively move, like if you have a person there moving their arms, that the arm is not is the arm is one asset, and the rest of the body is another asset, but that arm is kind of chained, sort of to the rest of the body, but you're just moving it, but it moves in relative context to the body. So if the body moves, the arm moves with it, but the arm will stay. If the arm moves, it will move relative to where the body is, but not relative to the world. That makes sense. So it does move. Depending on how you script the movements, like I could have certain states, so I could have like three different states and just tell it to move to those states. That'd be kind of like stop motion. So you just say, okay, move to state 1, move to state 2, move to state 3. So it could be a bit of both, like depending how many points, like moving the camera, the way I move the camera, because it looks a bit juddery, is because I'm telling it to, okay, move the camera like 5 pixels to the left, then move another 5 pixels to the left. And by doing that, it's quite juddery. You could say move 1 pixel, but you'd have to tell it to move 1 pixel in a rapid succession to make it very smooth. So in that sense, it's kind of like a stop motion. Like it's depending how many active frames of movement. So yeah, but then I know you can program in Blender. I think you can program motion as in say, well, here's the starting point, here's the end point, move the object until this point equals that point. So it just kind of sweeps from this point to this point, and you're not telling it each individual state. So it could be both. It could be both effectively, depending on how you make it. Like if for the player character, typically you're telling it using physics. So when you tell a person to move forward, now the rock, for instance, is the rock. I'm not telling it where the rock needs to go. I'm saying, well, the rock has a force applied to it in this direction. Now let physics take over. So, okay, if the rock had this much momentum put behind it, so how would it react? And then the physics in the Unity will then work out the rest for me. So all I'm saying is, well, push this rock in that direction with this much force, and then it'll generally gravity will kick in and air resistance and all the other things. So I'm not telling it how the rock should behave. I'm just dictating how physics works on the rock. Like how much gravity does the rock have? How much air resistance does the rock have? How much ground resistance? Things like that. But as far as this tree goes, I'm thinking it might have to be certain states. Right? It just goes, okay. Sort of, yeah. But the first thing I need to work out the tree is how to move this pivot point down here. But I'm thinking I might have to put something else underneath it, like a root. So let's make another 3D object and call it a cube, I suppose. Go cube. Call that cube a root. Do that, then go back to tree. Ah, there we go. So it needs to be, the root needs to be as far down as the tree. So it doesn't need to be a physical one. I could have stayed with the original. As long as there's a root. No, don't want to do that. What's going on here? Delete that. Delete that. Let's open up this tree. So this needs to have a create a cube. Rename root. That's roughly. So that pivot point is now down here. So I kind of want the tree to do that. But maybe a bit. Let's make the root a bit further down. That's a bit better. Okay, so I can now apply a rotation. What's the Gangster's Paradise remix playing in the background? I think it's a cut and run remix. Cut and run remix of Gangster's Paradise. It's on vinyl. It's one of my vinyls. You might find it online. It's a bootleg remix, as most of them are. Okay, let's work out how far I want this tree to rotate. $15? 10. So we want the rotation position to be 10 or minus 10. Let's go back to the code. So transform dot rotation z equals 10. Can do that. Okay. It's going to be a for loop, I'd say. So the length is going to be 20. Public game object tree. Go to this tree. This tree dot float z. Whoops. Z equals, so I can do that. I suppose, can I apply a... I wonder if I can apply a velocity to the... So I probably even know this tree, I can just go transform. Let's go vector free, v free equals new vector free. By the way, after, due to whatever all different reasons, only being able to make half a panel in the 6 months, I made 3 full pages consisting of 9 panels yesterday. Nice, well done. But that feels great to be able to get back to that. New expression requires an argument. Okay. So coordination. Why is it so complicated? Yes, glad to hear. Z equals I minus 10. v3 dot z equals z. We need to put the float in there. Let's move the float up. Float z So where have I used coordinations before? Because I've done rotations before, but is it because I've used them to look at things? Rotation. So let's look at points. Rotation Y. Set, position and rotation. Ah, okay. So I can do it this way. So set, game object set. Transform dot set. Transform dot position. V3. There needs to be a coordination, is it? Rock rotation. Rock rotation is a coordination, okay. So coordination Q equals new and I'll do that. It's back. Welcome back, Lisa. Ozzy wanted food and hang out. And so he should convert to hex. Oh, excuse me. Let's forget the new then. Let's set Q. Ozzy and I hung out today a lot today. Oh, nice. Was he feeling a bit lonely, or is he just wants to be company today? I know Damien sometimes just wants to spend the whole day hanging out. First he woke me up early, then went. And when I had lunch, we went to cuddle. Oh, hey American, how's it going? Hello, hello. Hope you're having a good Friday. Hope you've enjoyed your week so far. Now evening hangout. Oh, awesome. Hopefully it's not too warm for the kitty to hang out. Use of unassigned local variable. Oh, 'cause it needs to be new, I suppose, isn't it? Equals new coordination. Be a new coordination. Doesn't like that. Flow. Oh, it's multiples. Okay. I forget coordinations are 4 points. Ozzy can have those days where he wants to hang out all day, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah, I find that. So cats are like people. They kind of sometimes they want to hang, sometimes they don't. And we just have to go with it. Right, so I think that's effectively what I need to do here. But if I run it as it is now, you won't see it happening because the object will be moving so quickly you won't see it. So I'm going to have to put some delay in here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So cats are closer to people than dogs are. Dogs are very much dogs. But cats are very close to people and they go, well, today I want to do this and there's no particular reason why. That's just how I'm feeling. A dog is fairly consistent. They have their different days, but I find with Lottie that there hasn't been a day that Lottie doesn't want to hang out. It doesn't matter what's going on. So, hey, let's hang out. Cool, okay. We did that the day before and the day before that, but it's fine. Cats are like, yeah, today I'm good. I'll just do my own thing. So we want a little delay in here. Let's make a little. I think I've got a weighty timey thing somewhere, haven't I? Is it amongst this lot? It's not in camera rotate. It is on. It's when the rock reset kicks in, isn't it? On collision. Timer. There it is. Reset timer. That's an fixed update. So if that, do this. So we keep incrementing the timer and then it resets. So we just want like a little timer, don't we? So let's make a private timer, private void timer I should say, private void timer, and do a 4. Ooh. Should we use the frames? A fixed update. Because again, this will. It needs to be a void fixed update. You need to make a global variable. Private integer timer. So timer plus plus. So that will increment the timer. So it does that. And before carrying on, do I need to put like a while? Let's do a while loop in here. So while true. So while timer less than 20. Then timer equals 0. So it just keeps looping. No. So while timer is less than 20, it waits and then resets time to 0. So what's the time on here? So if it's greater than 10. We can try that. So instantly that will start ticking up. So we do kind of want to reset the timer before. So reset timer before timer counts up. So we don't need to reset it at that point, do we? Because we're only setting it to count it. Right, let's do that. So if it's hit, doesn't matter what it's hit with at the moment, but if it's been hit, create the variables, loop around, set the Z position, and it will sweep and then stop. So it will effectively just do one wipe. So what we'll need to do is change the code so it'll move one way and then the next. But at least we can see it doing its thing. See if this works. Never know, it might not work at all. I don't think I've got the collision on there, have I? So it will need a collider. There's no collider on there. Add component. Capsule collider? Yeah, capsule collider. Add it into center thingy. Want to see the new pages? Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. One only has flashback reused images. That's fine. So counting that one is kind of cheating. Cool, you sent. Awesome. Is that a quick looky? Internet's so slow at the moment. There we go. Nice. I like it. Looks cool. I like the reasoning that you put in there as well for the whole thing playing out. That's kind of funny, really. In a well, funny incident, so that's why it happened, but also understandable. That's you can believe that might happen in the future if things keep going. Accidentally muted me for 5 minutes. How rude. How very rude. Right, try this. Whoops. I think I've crashed it. What did I miss? I looked at your comic. Said the comic was very good. And working out what I'm doing with the tree. I think I've broken it. I think Unity's crashed on me. Yeah, first time I crashed it. Right. See if I can and stick it. Right, let's reopen the Unity again. And have a look at my code. Probably put some safeguards in it. There's probably better ways of doing this. So there's like an animation, a preset animation attached to the object, and then I just trigger that preset animation. But I'd have to probably put it into Blender, make the animation in Blender, save it to the object, bring it over. So it's a bit of extra work involved there. And just to make a tree wobble. But it'll be something I need to do eventually, learn how to do that. Right, now that's back up. Let's switch over to the main screen again. So let's comment that bit out. Because it should just do its thing. Yeah, it should do its thing. But it won't be any delays in it. Let's make sure that's saved. Well, the tree's in a complete rotation because that's now the root in the middle of the air. Not what I envisioned. Not what I envisioned at all. Because what it should be doing is that. All I'm going to do is just do that. Doesn't even have to be that much. This one's going to wobble, wobble, wobble. So why do they go full? Why do they go full spinning round like that? I suppose what I could do is copy this out and do this. Oh, do the whole. Do that. And then I'll comment out this entire section. And make Z equal minus 10 F. Oh, a bit of a bad mix coming in there on the music. I enjoy experimenting, but when it doesn't go right, it's a bit bad on the ears. Boom. Okay, so it's gone all the way around again. Now, it's a bit of a workaround, but the way I've got the rock, it's the rock rotation's all zeros anyway. So the quick look at the rock code. All in all, is doing this game more difficult than you thought, more easy, or just expected? The basics were far easier than I was expecting. To a certain extent, like rotation is a lot harder than I was expecting. Like, if you just want to tell it to rotate, you think, okay, rotate 180 degrees. That's not how it works. You can't tell it to rotate 180 degrees. You, as a designer, can rotate it 180 degrees, but you can't make it turn itself 180 degrees very easily. This is what it's a U that angle. So let's try this. Transfer U that angle. Because rotation doesn't exist as a code. It's a coordination. So let's do this. Go 0 Z. But it's overall, I say it's been easier than I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, I'm never going to make a game. But the more and more I do on this, well, actually, it's not that hard. It's just learning, like, the language, really. Like, that angles. I would never expect this is how you rotate an object. So it's not a coordination that I need then. Let's try this. So that tree is not adjusting its oh, there we go. Okay, I might have it then. So certain things become harder to understand, but then once you've got the groove, you've got the groove. Right, so let's uncomment this lot. So this bit isn't what I need. This bit is what I need. And chop that from there. So I don't need this bit. Yeah, there's certain things in this that should be far simpler. But I don't need a coordination anymore, so I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. Get rid of that space there. Let's get rid of this one. Right, okay. So it will cycle round. So that's a 0. And let's say Simon to Z. Not really. Because Z's been used there. Okay. Right. I suppose that's an unnecessary Simon because Z gets used. Let's do that. That keeps it happy. It does these little things it complains about down here. Go, but you don't need to set the Z value because you're changing a Z value in the code. Therefore, that 0 is never used. I know. I just like to know that it's 0. It's a reassurance as a coder that what you expect. I like the way you just went conk. It's your kind of expectation as a programmer to go, well, I know it's 0 at that point. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's see if we can get the we've worked out what code we need to use. It's let's put the timer back in. So I'll set the timer to 0, then wait while the timer is less than 20. So let's put that as a 0. So we know it's 0. So every frame it'd be going up and up and up and up. And what we could do, just to stop it from going crazy, is go if timer is greater than 30, timer equals 21. So that just keeps knocking it back down again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit over what we need it, as long as it's not in the thousands, which it would do eventually if we never hit a tree. Right. Hopefully this doesn't hold the game. Might not be the best way of doing it. Dealer, damn, I got here late tonight. Yeah, depending on the definition of late. Right, well, let's kill the game again. Give it a moment. 20 might be too high. I should have set it at 1 or something silly like that. How's it going though, dear? It's good to see you. Hope you've had a good Friday. Enjoyed your week. I'm going to say this method is not the method we need to use for delaying it. I should really make a what they call it, an asynchronous. It needs to be an asynchronous task. That's fancy speak for it exists on its own processing thread. So most things in coding, is run from top to bottom. Like, does this thing, does this thing, does this thing. And so we might go over here, does this thing, then go back over here and starts doing this thing again. That's mostly how it works. Asynchronous, so the first thing is synchronous. Asynchronous, as in not synchronous, means you can do a thing over here, call this over here, but this carries on while this is also doing its thing. This will stop, throw something back over here, and this will grab it and carry on. I'm not too familiar with asynchronous stuff. It's not something I have to do at work. When I'm working, I don't have to do asynchronous because everything is start, A, B, C, D, E, F, finish. There's never run multiple things. Games, on the other hand, definitely work on asynchronous. Like every single one of those pieces of script at the bottom there all run asynchronously. But it's making it asynchronous within itself. That's the issue. Right, so can I break the code? Can I go... Where's the break? Computer finger right now, is it waiting? Technically it's waiting. Technically it's waiting, but it might be waiting for a long time. Let's plug my keyboard in. That's the problem with making a computer wait and then you're not calculating the weight properly, because it can end up waiting forever and we don't want it to do that. Do I have a break on this keyboard? I think breaks aren't used unless you program. I don't think I have a break. No, because it's a small keyboard. It's only like a tiny keyboard, so that's the size of my keyboard. So because it's so small, it doesn't have a break key or a pause key. Bigger keyboards have a pause key or a break key, and what they're used for is when this happens when you're coding stuff. You just tell it to break, stop. Let me dissect this. Can I do it in this? So you can do it in Visual Studio like this. If I run the code by the play button at the top here, I could break it via that button, but I'm not. I'm running it via Unity. I'm wondering whether I can I break it there? Because these are breaks as well. But it depends if this is actively running. I don't think it is. Can we break? Because the whole thing's locked up, that's the problem. It's not just the game. I don't think... There's no other way of breaking. I need to have a bigger keyboard, really. Okay. Just locked it up. Right. Let's do it again. Let's kill Unity. Let's kill Unity. Make the next game in assembly. Yeah, that'll be even harder. I'll have to make the engine first. Make the engine, then make the game. Well, unless I just code it straight in as it is. Have I done assembly? I can't remember if I've done assembly before. Like, it would have been at college. I did a lot of different things. I programmed in hex before. Make an operating system for the sake of it. That would be quite cool. Make you an operating system. I've coded in hex before, and that's probably that might be the closest I've come to coding in assembly. Because at hex, I think hex is like one notch above assembly. Like, you still have to tell it where in the memory you want to save things. Not like that's well, save it. It's like, well, where do you want to save it? And then you have to specify where you're pulling data from. So I've programmed in hex. So that's the thing. That's probably the code. I can't remember if I've done any assembly. But yeah, imagine the days when you had to program in assembly because there weren't languages. It was just instructions directly to the processor. Go head off now. I'll see you on Monday. Cool. Thank you for stopping by, Max, and thank you for the call earlier. Much appreciated. Sorry I missed so many of them. It's been a busy week. But yeah, thank you for the news. Good for the chat. And enjoy your weekend, Max. Good to see you. And if it just so happens to be something the system needs to run, you need to write it to the system. Goes boof and your screen comes blue. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad higher level languages exist now. No problems, buddy. We need to catch up soon. Yes. Arrange some reason to meet up and do a thing. Right. Okay. So I've got a Unity backup. Go back to main menu. Main menu. Main scene. Let's go back to the main scene. And let's tell OBS. For some reason, even though I tell OBS to look for this screen, or any screen that is the same name as this screen, every time I open Unity, it goes, I don't know what screen you want. You've got this one, this screen with that name at the top. But apparently, it can't do that. I don't know. So this isn't the method we want to use then. This isn't the method. So I want you to wait. Now let's have a quick look on Google. So Unity wait 3 seconds. How would you suggest we wait 3 seconds? Just wait for seconds. Is that it? Okay, let's give this a go. The power of copy and paste. Do that. Don't need to fix update. We don't need timer anymore. We don't need this tree either. Timer doesn't need to be there either. Do we need to return? Okay, let's look at... So yield, it's good, not new. So wait 4 seconds. Okay. Let's find another example of this. Example coroutine. So it suggests that we make an enumerator. Let's drop this in. Why is this not happy? Oh, okay. Fair enough. And then we just go start coroutine. Let's do that. Don't need the timestamps really. Don't fully understand that, but example coroutine. So call it timer coroutine. So 1 second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It needs to be smaller, I suppose. 0.5. We'll have to experiment, I suppose. They added Holland to Clash of Clans for some reason. Oh, interesting. Let's save this before in case it crashes again. So, in theory, we should see the tree move now when I hit it. Last import generated a warning. Same name is built in Unity component. Didn't like something about this then? What's going on here? Good timer 1. What's it not liking? Script tree has the same name as built-in Unity. Ah, maybe it doesn't like the fact it's called tree. Okay, let's change the name of it. Rename. Tree. Tree axe, I suppose. Got tree axe here. Let's go prefabs. Tree axe scripts, cool. Now, is it all happy now? Make sure we're all saved up. Yep. Run the code. Has he got a problem? No. No errors now. So that should be 1 second. So in theory that should be 20 seconds. So before, whoops, apologies. I should have been at least 10 seconds before, waiting half a second per time. Oh, okay. Once it's finished being hit and stuff, we might go back to default position anyway. So this timer, let's copy in the original so make sure we've got collections, system collections, Unity engine. So we've got all the things that this example has. Let's put the log entries in so we can see it in the console. If we don't see it, then we know it's not calling it. Okay, so the timer's running, but the code's bypassing it. Okay. And where is the scripts? Camera. It's not the camera. That's the one, isn't it? Is that one? No. Rock launch score to UI controls. No. Okay, where have we got debug logs? There it is. Keyboard controls. So don't need that anymore because that's only for me to check it was reading my keys okay. Just read an article about the native tribe that thought Prince Philip was a divine being and worshipped him. You know, those poor people. And I'm sure Prince Philip was very happy about that. So start waiting at the end of current frame. Now if you start wait for seconds with a duration t in a long frame, for example one which has a long operation which blocks the main thread such as synchronous loading, the coroutine will return t seconds after the end of the frame, not t seconds after it was called. Allow the coroutine to resume on the first frame after t seconds has passed, not after t seconds. Okay, it's to do with frames again. He has sent them 3 signed photographs of himself. Oh wow. Which they worship to this day. Yeah. Can I do a wait? So we want to kind of keep checking. Wait for seconds. Suspends the coroutine execution for a given amount of seconds using scaled time. So I can't just run that normally, can I? Has to be in a start coroutine. Okay, we'll comment this out because this clearly isn't working for us right now. And therefore that won't. Could try going back to the original method. So we want to kind of hold. Let's leave that there for now. So void next update. Private timer. Or private int timer. So timer plus plus. And private boolean stop go. If stop go, put time inside it. Else timer equals 0. And then we want stop go equals true. While stop go that, and change stop go to false here. Stop go equals false. That's not going to work, is it? No. No, so that's not where that needs to go. So we've got a timer. So while that, so want that to be there. Let's go another if timer is greater than 2, then stop go equals false. So we go, if that's true, set the timer, keep incrementing the timer. If stop go is false, set the timer to 0. Then the timer is greater than 2, then set it to false. So if timer is 0, it won't set to false. But if stop go is false. Timer will increase anyway. Stop go is true. It will increase, but then as soon as it gets over 2, it will set itself and switch itself off. So in theory, this will be self-contained. Like this will always turn itself off within the code. So I can set it true, it go 1, 2, turn itself off. So I don't have to turn itself off, but this will turn itself on. But the thing is, will fixed update run while this is running? That might be what the issue is. I'll just go update. Call every frame if mod behavior is enabled. So that should happen every frame anyway. Fixed update. Is it capital F fixed update? Yep. Function is called every fixed frame rate frame if the mod behavior. Yeah, the only thing with this is if it doesn't run this code, if this code never kicks in because it's waiting here, like this will hold until that's done. I think that's the only problem here. Yeah, but it has to be something to work out. I'll work out while I'm off stream, I think. See, this is one of the things that's more complicated than you think it should be. Like, how do you tell it to wait so it doesn't just run the code in one go? But I'll work that out. And we'll come back to it next week, I think. Right, I'm going to get some rest, I think. Think about these things. Thank you all for joining today. It's been awesome. It's only been a 2-hour stream, but that's all it needs to be. Just to get a little bit more game dev done, a little bit more learning. But yeah, I'll work on making the code wait. I'll look at some of the other code I've got in the other functions where it waits and stuff. Because that seems to be working. But maybe... yeah, I don't know. I think it probably needs to throw things at... yeah, it probably needs to throw stuff at the fixed update, and the fixed update does it. I think that's what needs to happen. So the fixed update is the loop, and not the collision. That makes sense to me. Thanks for the stream. We'll see you Monday. We are nearing my move, so Geo Stardew's whatever game you and Nick's choosing will be coming. Yes. Yeah. If you can't make it, or you want like a couple of weeks or so thing off, just let me know whenever you aren't available, and we'll fill in for that. That's fine. Thank you for the stream. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yeah, I'll redo the code, so I'm using the fixed update.
Epic.
Ooh, epic. Epic as always. See you Monday.
Epic.
Not this Monday yet, though. Enjoy the weekend. Epic as always. See you Monday. Yes. Yeah, I think I'll throw it at the fixed update loop, and that should work because that carries on. But yeah, I'll have a think about that. I might do it off stream, but I'll update my Discord. But yeah, enjoy your weekend. And yeah, I'll be doing some more game dev next Friday. We work out more little things. We're getting there. I'm learning all this stuff. Thank you all for joining. Thank you everyone who's been chatting or you've been lurking. You're all awesome. I shall see you then next Friday for more game dev. Monday we'll be playing Stardew Valley with Kartik Mori and the Saurus Rex, and with Nix's Crafts as well. So we'll see you all on Monday. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you there. Good night.